Welcome to another episode of the Bek Lover podcast, where you might learn a thing or two about life. You never know who we're going to bring on, because we bring the whole spectrum, the whole buffet of life, all types of people, because this world is full of amazing people and amazing stories. Make sure you subscribe, hit that sub button, click like, leave a comment, and help project my voice across the world. And I thank those of you that do. You can check out all my content on BekLover.com. But today I have a special guest. I have a fellow alumni of the New York Nightlife. He's a New York socialite. You may have seen him in Forbes magazine recently discussing his new app and website and technology that he's bringing to the world that's going to help us connect more with high-profile people, celebrities, and things like that. I got my good friend Jeff Krauss in the house. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bek, for having me, man.
Jeff, you've been in New York most of your life, yes?
Oh, yeah. I grew up here.
Born here?
Born in Long Island.
I always like to kind of give my audience a little bit of background on who my guests are, where they're from, their upbringing a little bit, so they can kind of understand your life cycle, I guess, if you want to use that word. So you're born and raised in New York.
Yeah. Born and raised in Long Island, New York.
What was it like being a young Jeff?
Well, I mean, as a young Jeff, I was actually pretty quiet, tennis player. All I really cared about was pretty much playing tennis. I was on the wrestling team for a little bit, and yeah, that was my that was me pretty much in a nutshell. I was kind of just a quiet, introverted kid that loved to play tennis.
So you were very quiet.
Yeah. I mean, I still am an introvert, don't get me wrong. But I would say I was much more very quiet growing up, for sure.
I'm the opposite of an introvert. I'm an extrovert, right? I'm very outgoing, very vocal, I don't care if there's a million people out there. I'll jump on top of a box and yell, whatever. Do you find it difficult when you have to do stuff like this as an introvert? Do you find it difficult to come on a show, or is it only if you're in front of people, like actually in front of people that, I mean, does it make you uncomfortable as an introvert? Because I try to understand the world of the introvert.
I don't know if I necessarily am uncomfortable with going on a show. I think it's more of stuff like if I'm in a party, let's just say, even though I'm trying to be extroverted, which, just for the sake of being, social. By the time I get back to my apartment, I'm like,
you're drained.
I'm drained.
You have to kind of like
pull it out
of you. So basically, to my understanding, and it's what I understand it to be, being an introvert, basically, it's like you don't mind people. It's not that you hate people. It's just you don't really feel like dealing with them maybe as much, or having to talk and yeah, it's not so much about hating people or anything like not
like
hating,
that.
But like, you want to avoid having to talk or be more public or vocal, or I don't know. I mean, how would you describe it in your definition?
I would describe it as maybe shy, but trying to be, because look, when I get to know somebody, I'm very, comfortable to talk to them. But when you're in a crowded room, it's a little bit more.
It's kind of like a phobia, a little bit, is it? A little bit like.
Listen.
Like, damn, everyone's looking at me. Everyone's going to be listening to me. I wonder how I sound. Do you think that? I mean, I'm not.
No.
I'm trying to understand what goes through your mind when you're an introvert, and it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. There's a lot of people that are introverted.
So here's the thing. I don't really care about what people think of me as far as that's concerned. It's just more of something within. I mean, I've been this way since I was born. So it's nothing new to me.
So when you were in school, and I mean, from what I can remember, and it's been a long time, I feel like people picked more on the kids that stayed quiet, or like they felt, because there was like this perception of like, well, if they're quiet, maybe that, they're weaker, or, there's that stupid perception maybe children have, like, well, he's always quiet. And, did you experience any of that growing up? I mean, was any difficulties growing up as an introvert? Did you have any issues as a child, maybe when you were in school? I mean, what was that like?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I grew up in a town that was, relatively wealthy, I guess you could say. But I was much more, quiet and whatnot. I did experience a little bit of, picking on and had some bully, situations, so to speak. But I wouldn't say it was something that was ongoing for long periods of time with one specific person. It's just that because I was more of an outcast, not an outcast, but I was very, to myself, I only had, certain close friends. There were definitely times where people would, try to test me, so to speak.
Or if you're hanging out with other kids, why are you bringing him with you? Right? Or stuff like that. Why did you bring him? He doesn't talk at all. There was some. He never opens his mouth.
there was some of that, but I also grew up with learning disability. I was in special classes, so there was a lot of different stuff like that was happening, and yeah, there were.
What was the condition, and when did they figure out you had that?
Oh, when I was very young, probably.
So what was it? What was the actual learning disability?
Yeah, it's called visual perception.
So what is that?
So let's just say we're sitting in a classroom, right? You can listen to a teacher write on the chalkboard, on the board, absorb that information and write it down very quickly.
Okay.
I will have to listen, see what they're writing, and by the time I write it down, it's on to the next conversation. I absorbed nothing. So after school and even in between in classes, I would have to go into specific classes where they would have to help me learn.
So it was hard to retain it as quick as the other kids.
It was hard for me to retain it, hard for me to learn it.
So how do you fix that? How did they fix it? I mean, is it still an issue? Still an issue a little bit?
Yeah, you don't fix that.
So does technology help you now?
Technology?
Yeah, you keep notes. You put things in your calendar.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, today's technology is way different than, from when I was
light years compared to what we grew up with. I think we're around the same age, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 42.
Yeah, a little, just a tad bit older. I'm 41. So.
Yeah.
Same generation.
But yeah, no, it was more of just something that listen, there's no fixing it. You can only get better, right?
Manage the symptoms.
You can manage the symptoms, but you can't just completely overcome it. So yeah, there was a little bit of,
So that's, honestly, man, brother, that's very challenging, man. It is very challenging. For me, it was real easy. I could, absorb looking, writing. I was blessed to have both, but I always wrote when I knew I had a test to really put it into my brain.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how stressful that must have been to be in school and you're constantly being asked to retain information. And if you don't, your performance is based on that. So,
actually, I had to at one point stop wrestling because I was on the wrestling team for a period of time.
Excellent sport.
The reason is because first of all, I have insomnia, so that doesn't help me since I was born. So I would go into school, I would sleep during the first couple periods of class, wouldn't really learn too much, go to wrestling. Then after wrestling, I would then go to tennis. So I would be going from 3 in the afternoon, let's just say, all the way till 10 at night. And it got to the point where my grades were, being affected. And my parents were just like, listen, you got to choose one way or the other. There's no way that you're going to keep this up.
Doing both sports, yeah.
Yeah, and you're failing your classes. So I had to choose one and, gave up the wrestling.
How did you end up finishing school? Did you do all right?
I got by.
Did you graduate? That's all.
I graduated. I graduated college. Actually, I graduated at Ramapo College in New Jersey.
Okay.
Which is
Jersey in the house.
Exactly.
What did you study?
Communications.
See, if I could go back, that's what I would have majored in. I majored in finance, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I hate math.
Well, I learned much more in the real world with communications than I did in college.
I think we all do. I think college, honestly, man, it was a great time. For me, did I finish in 4 years? And I even got a scholarship to college, but you know, I didn't learn much. I had a blast. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
I went to Pace in the city. Had a blast.
Oh yeah.
I cried for like 4 days after I finished college. I had so much fucking fun, man. I didn't want to leave. So I told my son, like, I don't want to go to college. I go, you're fucking stupid if you don't want to go to college. Not because you're stupid, because you want to learn. You're going to miss a really great time to have fun, you know, meet people, network. You know, a lot of the buddies from college, they end up being your lifelong friends. I mean, I don't know if that's true for you, but, you know, a few of the people I met in college, you know, we still to this day, you know, here we are 20-something years later. And my God, how fast time moves from that point that I graduated. I can't believe how fast. I mean, think about the last 20 years seems like a blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye, man.
So that's my only advice to my young audience is like, you're sleeping on your time. Like if you're not out there using your time now, do I wish I did a little bit more? I was very active during college, but I mean, I was doing commercial leasing in the city. I was active in the nightlife. And the reason, you know, I like to give the background why I asked you all these questions is because, you know, you go from being an introvert, you have a learning disability, and you become a part of New York's nightlife. So I guess, you know, take us from college to how did you get into nightlife? And, you know, you're forced to be extroverted in nightlife. You cannot be successful in nightlife, and you can't meet celebrities and do all this cool stuff you've been doing. Because you know, how do I know? I do it too. Right? Yeah. I'm friends with some of the biggest celebrities in the world. It's hard to do that as an introvert. So I'd like to hear, so hopefully there's someone here that's introverted that maybe is not as strong as you are or hasn't been as successful. And maybe this is how they learn how to get out of their shell and go for the gusto. So take me kind of through, how did you end up in nightlife and how did you do that as an introvert?
After high school, went to college. I think it was maybe my first or second year. I was still hanging out with my close friends from high school. We, you know, would go out to nightclubs on weekends. And
in the city.
What
was some of the nightclubs? What was the first nightclub you remember that you went to that you really stuck out in your memory? Were you just like, I love this?
Actually, where the story begins, I believe it was Saatchi. If you remember Saatchi back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically what happened was me and a couple of my friends were standing online at a nightclub, and one of my friends, who is a little more extroverted than me, I guess you could say, we're standing online, and all of a sudden, you know, we're just waiting. And promoter that we know from back home walks in, cuts the line, walks in with all these girls. And so I'm just standing there, and my friend, Dave, he says to me, Jeff, we got to do that. I'm like, do what? He goes, promote parties. I'm like, come on, man. I'm not doing that. He goes, no. We got to do it. I'm like, all right, bro, let's just settle down. This is not something I'm interested in. Weeks went by. Every time we'd hang out, Jeff, we got to become promoters. We got to start throwing parties. This is, you know, we can
like
make
Project X and shit.
Yeah, we can make money and, you know, and you know, get girls and all this stuff. And I'm like, so finally I said, listen, after like weeks of pressing me, I
mean, you had no desire.
No desire.
It wasn't even crossing your mind.
Didn't even cross my mind at all. I said, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll call my sister, see if she knows any promoters. And I'm sure she does. We'll try it once. If I like it, I'll do it again. But I'll do it once just so you could stop bothering me about it.
Just shut the fuck up.
Just to shut the fuck up.
And leave me alone.
And leave me alone. So I'm underage at the time. And, you know, I'm showing a fake ID to get into parties. Like, you know, anybody would.
Oh, most people did.
Most people.
I just looked older. They never ID'd, man. And the old 20 under the license, they never gave it. $20 went a long way back then. You gave that to a bouncer, he's like, yeah, he's good.
Oh, yeah. I used to show an ID that wasn't even me. Yeah. It was real, but it wasn't me.
You slip a 20 under, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Now they got the machines and the scans and the fucking, you're not getting away with that no more. Technology sucks for you young ones. It really does. We used to get away with murder in the old days.
So my sister ended up connecting me with this promoter. We spoke to him. We worked out this deal, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So if we bring 1,000 people, then we're going to make all this money. Well, it didn't exactly happen that way. We started calling everybody in our phone book. I mean, everybody. My friend was calling people from tennis camp from 10 years ago that he hadn't even spoken to. So we're doing all this work, have all these people coming. We show up to the door, we show our IDs. My friend, they're about to let him in, and they're like, they look at my ID, first time that this has ever happened since going out. This isn't you. We can't let you in. And so my friend / partner at the time, he goes, I'm going to go inside. He starts raising hell. My partner and I busted our asses to fill this venue and blah, blah, blah. And, he's flipping out. So finally they're like, all right, listen, we'll let you in, but you can't drink. I said, okay, cool. Walked in. Half of our people didn't even get in. So we were already upset about that. My sister shows up with, her friends. And because I guess one of them knew the door guy, they basically thought that they brought them. So it was kind of like, you
didn't get the tally.
I didn't get the tally.
And for those of you who don't understand how Nightlife works, so how it works, and I was never really a promoter. See, people have that dissuasion. I truly was on the other side, but I was more of the client. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm spending all this fucking money for no reason. The irony now is I don't even drink. But what the tally is in Nightlife is a promoter is in charge of bringing people. And it's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
Now you're considered a promoter just because you bring some girls to drink for free.
Exactly.
To me, a promoter is, are you bringing fucking money to the club?
Right.
Okay. Well, how many clients do you have? You have whales. They're going to spend money on bottles. They're going to, people are actually going to spend money. To me, if you think you're a promoter just because you can bring women to a club, and the fact that clubs even need to hire these fucking people means to me that club is ineffective in marketing.
Absolutely.
In my opinion. And we'll get into this later. But at that time, your only job was to bring as many people as you can. And per head, you would get paid per person.
Exactly.
So if they agreed to give you $5 to $7 a head back then was kind of the rate.
Yep.
You brought 100 people, you made $700 a night. You got to drink for free. You had a fucking blast, which is a great lifestyle at that age.
Exactly.
And that's what sucked you in the...
No, actually, I had a... Listen,
so then what happened? Night, so you no good that night?
So, no. We brought a lot of people, but a lot of them didn't get into the club.
So how many got in? I mean, do you remember? Did you make any money that night?
Oh, no, they totally fucked us.
They're like, screw you guys.
Yeah,
which is very common also. People don't know how it was.
Oh, yeah. They totally fucked us, didn't get paid. But after that situation...
you got laid. So you're like, I'm in.
No. Actually, no. But...
Because that works too.
Yeah, but not that night. So what happened was, after that night, we got into a huge fight with the promoter, argument.
So you were basically a sub-promoter. There was a promoter,
yeah. I mean, and
then a sub, because you didn't have the contract for the actual club.
Exactly. I didn't know anything.
Yeah. Like a pyramid scheme in our business.
Yeah, but I said, all right, you know what? Let's give this one more shot.
What made you want to give it one more shot after that? 'Cause you didn't want to do it at all.
I did not want to do it at all.
You kind of did it, and it was not successful. So what the hell made you want to do it again?
Because I saw the people that actually came out. I saw there was something there that I just wanted to try again. I don't know what it was.
Was it that they were having a good time? Was it? I mean, did they have? Did the people that night? Do you remember? Did they have a good time?
Now, the people that came,
that got in,
had a blast.
They had a really good time.
They had a great time. So that made me feel good.
So you kind of built a little bit of a base then. They're like, oh, let us know when the next one is. Or
exactly. So I said, all right, we're going to try this one more time. And I said, but we're not going to do it at a place that is the hottest place in New York or whatever.
Because a shitty place.
Because, well, yeah.
Not as popular.
Not as popular. And what I'd rather do is try to make it our own, so to speak.
We take the deal for the night.
Or I work with somebody that I trust that has the deal, and it's a different story.
In either way, you need more control, which is what I used to do when I did my events. I didn't promote for anybody.
Now, remember, this is now my second time doing it. So I'm still very green.
Very green in nightlife. Nightlife is very ruthless.
Very green. However, I got an email or I saw something online. I don't know. I don't really remember exactly how it happened.
What time period is this? Is it the early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah. And I got an email or I saw something online, and I ended up connecting with a promoter named Donnie Garzino. And he treated me with such respect. And it was, we basically, and actually, funny enough, Jason Priestley was actually his partner, which was kind of funny. He put his name on the, on the bill, even though he was hardly ever there. But yeah, we
talking about the actor,
from 90210, which is kind of full circle that I book some of the cast for appearances now. But anyway, yes. So he was, he had his name on it for, promotional purposes, even though he was hardly ever there. But they treated me so well that I was like, you know what? I can do this and I can learn the ropes. And
he was basically like a mentor.
Yes.
In nightlife at that point.
Yes. They were mentors to me. And then, basically we were doing this party. It was going good. And I basically was walking around the city to different restaurants, and I found one restaurant that was really beautiful. And Donnie said to me, hey, look, if you get the restaurant, this is a really beautiful spot. Let's partner up and we can.
Which place was that?
It was called Scopa.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Very familiar.
Yeah. So
I forgot that name. It's been so long.
Yeah. So we started throwing parties at Scopa. It was going great. And basically I just kept building and building, and
good money comes out. I mean, when you hit on a party, I mean, you can make 10, 20, 30 grand a night.
Yeah.
When it goes really well.
When it goes good. Yeah.
And you're with the right venue that doesn't try to screw you. Because what a lot of people don't know, and I guess this episode is a little bit about this, is if you're trying to break into nightlife and you know nothing about nightlife, you're going to fall into the hands of some of the wrong people at first. Unless you're lucky.
1,000%.
Unless you're lucky. And there's very few that have any honor in that business in the long run, in my opinion.
Listen.
It's the venues too. The venues can screw you. Then so what happens is they screw the person that has the deal for the club. Now you're a sub promoter for the promoter. It's not even his fault. He got screwed by the venues. So now you get screwed because he got screwed because he doesn't have the money to pay you. And there's a lot of that goes on too. Or you did 30,000 at the bar, or 50,000 or 100,000. And they're like, no. And then you see all these voids and they play with the numbers at the end. Meanwhile, you crush, because there's not just the per head shit's pretty much non-existent now.
No,
it's all based on how much they spend.
Exactly.
But that was still a part of deals back then, right? We used to get the bar guarantee, and you would have your levels.
Well, back in the day, a promoter would take over a night, and it was up to them to fill the venue,
and they had to pay
do their thing, and they had to pay their.
They'd have a bar guarantee. So if you don't hit 20,000 in sales, so you're guaranteeing the venue, I'm going to hit 20,000 tonight, and I'm going to take every Friday for the next year.
Yeah.
And every Friday comes, if that bar doesn't ring up 20 grand, that person has to pay the difference.
There were some of those deals, yeah. Some of the deals were
anything over 20, I get half. And then every place had different deals and numbers, and they got to keep the admission at the door. And so it is very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing financially. You can run into a hole pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
But you did it for a very long time.
Yes.
So you start building with this team. You're doing parties at this place called Scopa.
Yes.
Now, do you feel like you're becoming more extroverted at this point in your life? And do you think it's because of alcohol? Be honest.
Not because of alcohol, no.
Was it because of anything else? Huh?
I was becoming a little bit
behaving?
More.
Were you skiing once in a while? Huh?
You know, funny enough, I've actually never done that.
You know what? Neither have I.
Not even once.
No, I'm serious. Not even once.
And
you know why I never did it?
Why?
2 reasons. One, I saw what people did to them in the nightlife. I know people that lost their lives, lost everything they had. And 2 is I was scared. I was like, if I like this, my life is over. And I was scared I would like it.
That's one of 2 reasons why I've never done it. Is because number one, well, first of all, number one, as a kid, my mom basically said to me, if you smoke or do drugs, I'm throwing you out of the house. As much as it's funny, it was a good thing she said that. The second reason is because I never wanted to do anything that would potentially
cost you your life.
Cost me my life.
Whether it be like you're alive and your life's over, because you can destroy your life and still be alive.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
I've unfortunately had friends that I've seen deteriorate. Yeah, they're alive, but they're not the same person I knew 10 years ago. They became burned out, as we call it. Burned out.
Look, there's some people that can handle doing it recreationally, every now and then.
Yeah,
and
same thing with alcohol. Right?
And some people can, but I never felt the need to do it. I just never cared to do it. I never wanted to do it. So I always
Did you drink though?
I did drink. Yes.
Did it ever get out of hand? Nightlife in the beginning, you kind of don't know your boundaries yet.
It didn't get out of hand, but later down the road, I basically just said to myself, you know what? If you really want to do something with your life, you really want to, move the needle with your business, going to have to cut the drinking or at least limit it to, not as much at all.
Because it could be every night if you want. People don't
the
understand
problem
that.
is this.
There's a party every night in New York.
The problem is this.
Especially during that time.
Yeah, especially at that time. You have a couple drinks, let's just say, out of a bottle. I'm just using this as an example, one night. Then you wake up with a hangover. Then the next night comes. Same thing. So after a while, you're kind of like, all right.
You're a fucking alcoholic and you don't realize it, because that's kind of where I felt I was. Yeah, I wasn't excessively drinking every night, but if you're drinking every day, even 2 drinks, by definition.
Yeah, 3-4 nights a week. It just,
and it wasn't for me. It was sick. I was out 6 to 7 nights. I was literally out every fucking night.
Yeah.
Monday, Last 61, Bungalow 8. Tuesday, Sweet 16, Suede.
Yep.
Wednesday, Serafinos. Thursday, Lotus. I was out every
Tuesdays at Lotus
fucking night for years.
Sundays at Pangea.
Sundays. You've been in that world, and we were out at the same time, which is cool. And you do look familiar. I feel like we've definitely been in the same room a million. I'm a lot fatter, but we've probably definitely been in the same room a million times, and we didn't even know each other back then.
1,000%. In fact, at one point, and this is why it's...
You know Chris Willer?
Of course. Love Chris.
Richie Romero?
Richie's family. Okay. Love Richie.
Samir Qureshi. Samir, the owner of Somewhere Nowhere.
Love Samir.
One of the most honorable in the industry, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Seriously, like when you could,
seriously.
Keeps his fucking. That's how me and him became best friends.
Samir, listen.
I took a deal at Ajna, the old Buddha bar, and never knew him.
I did the Friday there actually.
What was his name? Fucking guy.
Frank.
Well, Frank's at Buddha bar now.
Yeah,
but the shaved head, good looking guy. But I'd met the Janice or whatever his name was, the owner. I didn't know what the fuck was that. Someone co-brokered a deal. And, I don't want to say the whole story here, but basically that's the first time I met Samir, and I made him an offer he can't refuse. He was in charge of that night. He had the contract. And I had 2,000 people. The party's online. You type in YouTube, the Final Friday, United Element. You'll see fucking 2,000 people across the street from STK. The lines around the block at 11 o'clock. I closed my door. Sold out.
Wow.
He's like, who the fuck are you? And how many people promote for you? Like, how many promoters you have? I said, I don't have any fucking promoters. He said, what do you mean? I said, because that's a fucking promoter. That's a fucking promoter. Not some asshole that can invite 20 girls to come drink for fucking free.
Well,
I want to give the power back to the women in nightlife.
If you want to hear something a little ironic, I actually was doing the Friday night when Ajna opened. We were there for a couple of months. Everything was going great. And then the manager, Frank, decides to say, you know what? I think that we can do this without you guys.
Oh, they always think
So he cancels the contract. 2 weeks later, when he's empty, they call me up and they're like, will you guys come back? I'm like, nope.
Yeah, you're fucking stupid. They swear it's the same thing, not just in nightlife. When I worked for one of the largest hospitality companies in the world, I was in charge of the entire sales floor. I built that team. I recruited that team. I trained that team, 80 sales reps.
Wow.
Crushing numbers. Broke every fucking record. Brought that witch that I used to work for, cunt. She ends up winning like the #1 fucking office. And then this is a huge organization. I'm not going to say the name just to not.
Yeah.
Not that I give a fuck, because I'll never work for anybody again as long as I live. I'd rather jump off a building. She thought the machine's up, right? They trained. They know what they're doing. I get rid of this guy. She didn't get rid of me, though. She made it to the point where I felt very underappreciated. It wasn't like I wasn't even being a prima donna. It was like they were doing things that just made no sense, and they were destroying the culture. We had an amazing culture there for a moment. That's why we hit the numbers we hit. We exceeded the budget by 30%, man. The numbers we were supposed to hit by almost 30. It was like 27%. We did $130 million in sales. Legally, no games, no gimmicks, no, like the right way. Won all these awards, incredible. No fucking complaints. I have. It's my track record. I got receipts, motherfuckers. I got receipts, and I'm going to bring them out. But here's my point. It's the same story you're telling me. They think they got it. It's up now. It runs itself. He's only one person. What the fuck is, if he's gone, who cares? And I wasn't. There was 5. I don't want to take all the thunder. There was 4 other managers. They all resigned. I'm the last one left.
Wow.
And I'm looking at it. I go into it. I said, listen, I'm giving you until Monday to get rid of the director. The director was a fucking virus in that office. A fucking scumbag. A low life. When I tell you a low life, fucking scumbag. He was never there to build that team. He came in after everything was up. You understand? I didn't even care about the position because I didn't want his position. I was making more money on the floor. This and that. I said, we've been with you since day one. I said, you think? I said, I know. And it's exact words. I said, you think it's up and running and it's good? You're going to find out who's closing all that business out there. I said, I know you think
I bet they found out real quickly.
Oh, they fucking found out, bro. They didn't even hit their fucking budget. So imagine the year before, their #1 office in the world, 30% ahead. The next year, they didn't even hit the fucking budget. I said, I hope you enjoyed your bonus last year because you ain't going to have another one. But the corporate world, that's when I realized, like, that's when I made the final break because I was always an entrepreneur, but I had gotten married. Let me get some structure. Let me, whatever. I tried to be I hated the industry I was in. I could tolerate because it was very little hours. We made really fucking good money. $500,700 a year, man, to work 20, 30 hours a fucking week. And most of the time you're not working. You're just waiting for the next client to come in. Like, you just fuck. It was a fun job. I'm not going to lie. Great job. But that's when I realized I would never work in the corporate world again as long as I live. Because you could do everything right. And I did everything right, Jeff.
And they still could screw
Okay, Jeff, I worked 80-hour weeks to 100-hour weeks. I didn't care what the time was. I gave the job everything I had. I never had one complaint from a client. I had the opposite. The staff that I worked with, they all made more money than they ever made in their lives. And I built a culture that I was so proud of, and I treated them every day. Out of my own fucking pocket. The company wasn't good. I would buy everyone lunch and fucking take care of everyone, and even pay for clients. Not my financial responsibility, but I believed in it. And I was like, this is it. I finally did everything right. I'm finally making the money I deserve in the corporate world. The next step is whatever I want it to be, and then nonsense for no fucking reason. Bring some scumbag in, destroy the entire fucking environment, destroy everything we built. And I'm like, I will never leave my future in the hands of anyone ever again. So I told my family when I jumped off the list. Can you imagine telling your wife or your family, listen, I'm making $500,000, $600,000 a year. I'm leaving my job. What do you think they said to me? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, they probably were.
You're stupid. You're crazy. Where the fuck are you going? But I would rather have my dignity,
respect,
my self-respect.
Respect is a big fucking
Okay, so if people want to know, can I buy Bek? No, you can't fucking buy me because I already had many times in my life And it was, Jeff, it was not easy walking away from that kind of money. I went through hell, brother. I failed like 4 more companies after that I like started. I lost a lot of fucking money after that. I lost a lot of fucking money after that. But I learned a lot. I feel great. Yeah. And it all led to where I am today. And that's why I feel like you don't compromise. And that's what you didn't do, right? Because a lot of people, when they start a nightlife, if they went your course, they would have stayed in the promoter, sub-promoter for years before they would have felt enough courage.
Absolutely.
Let me take the venue. Let me give the guarantee. It sounds like you kind of really jumped off the ledge and kind of went into it very quickly. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, you also have to understand something else. I mean, I touched on this before growing up, playing competitive tennis. When you're playing tennis and you got a learning disability that has to do with, visual perception. And on top of that, I have flat feet as an example. So I was always the hardest working guy on the court, so to speak. It once I have my mind set into doing something, I'm gonna go.
That's why I feel sports, and I am a father of 3. I feel sports is so fucking important. Sports is so important. Force your child to play a sport. Why? It teaches them to be competitive. It teaches them to care. It teaches them to want to learn how to win.
Absolutely.
And to come back from the disappointment of losing. There's a lot that you learn from sports, and I don't think a lot of people understand it. Well, my kid just doesn't like baseball. Make him play baseball.
1,000%.
My kid doesn't like to do anything. Well, pick a sport and force the kid to play it.
Oh, listen,
sorry for yelling,
man. My family tried to get me to, play baseball and all this other stuff, but I was hooked on tennis.
I heard a lot of Jewish people like jiu-jitsu. Is that true?
I'm sure a lot of people.
It's a jiu-jitsu.
That's a good one.
I just thought of it. But yeah, man, we have a lot in common, man. I didn't even realize it. I mean, we've spoken over the last couple of years, but we're like finally meeting in person, and
exactly.
So yeah, I feel like talking to alumni here, man. You are alumni, Nightlife alumni.
Oh, same.
Nightlife alumni.
Same to you.
So you got to the point where you could fill Ajna, your team. Ajna, by the way, guys,
yes,
was a massive venue, and I'm gonna put some clips in this episode to show because I have footage of my party. Massive venue. It was first Buddha Bar, then it'd be called Ajna. And at this time, the meatpacking district was the mecca of New York City.
Absolutely.
Brooklyn hadn't taken over yet. Brooklyn took over.
Yeah.
In Manhattan, 14th Street area, the meatpacking district next to the Gansevoort Hotel, Little West 12th Street, that area had like the creme de la creme of lounges and small nightclubs in Manhattan at this time period. It was like it was the triangle to be in.
Oh, yeah.
So you were doing with some of the biggest venues there. I mean, Ajna was massive, brothers. It could fit 2,000 people, no problem.
Yeah.
So they begged you to go back, and you told them, no.
Nope.
Do you remember where did you move the party to?
I moved the party to be honest with you, some restaurant that I don't even remember the name of, but.
And that's what happened with club owners. They don't realize that people followed the promoters back then. They didn't care about it. We never cared about the venue. We're like, we know if this group is throwing the party, we know it's going to be a good party. Like I was loyal to Click for most of my nightlife.
Yeah.
When I was younger, like in my college years. I knew if I went to a Click party, there was going to be beautiful women. I was going to have a good time. I knew my friends were going to be there. So I would go to a Click party. That's what a lot of venues, like, club owners, same thing happened at Deep. You remember Deep? 21st Street? It used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be called Ohm.
Yep.
That place was sick for a couple of months. Like, I mean, I couldn't wait for Saturday nights to go there. But from what I understand, the owner got involved too much and messed up with the promoters. And once you get rid of the best promoters, the city's small and word gets around. And people don't realize that, like, we all talk. And, at that time period, I mean, it's changed a little bit since then, but you didn't screw that. And this is just a lesson in life. If someone's making you money, leave them alone.
1,000%.
I have, my company, which I'm going to start talking more about, a separate channel from this. This is more just life and fun. And
of course,
you never know, but my business stuff. If I had a sales rep who was killing it, He could do or she could do whatever she wants as long as it's not illegal. Anything except curse my mother out. They could say whatever. I wouldn't give a fuck. They're bringing me money. Like, why am I going to fuck with my killers? It is so hard to find qualified people in any profession.
Absolutely.
Who care about their job and produce. When you got a producer, and the salespeople know it. That's why they always walk. There's always something else to sell. There's always somewhere else to go. There's always something else I can sell. I don't fucking need you. You need me. And it's the truth.
1000%.
And the smartest people that build the smartest sales teams are the ones that know, I got a fucking killer. It's like your athlete. Let me take care of him. Let me make them happy. Let me make her happy. I don't want to lose them because they're bringing you fucking money. It is hard to teach someone how to sell and to become good at it. And I never understood this logic with these morons. The problem is most of the managers in companies that have sales organizations, or they put people that could not sell. They themselves, my ex-boss never sold a fucking thing in her life. Yet her job was to produce sales. That is why she destroyed her own office, in my opinion. So, but getting back to all that, I'm sorry, I don't know. You kind of pulled this out of me. So.
No. This is
because it's just a common theme throughout all business. People do things and they think they're smart. They think they're fucking you. They think they're cutting a corner. No, what you're doing when you screw people over, what you are doing is you're definitely hurting yourself reputation-wise. And eventually your reputation will catch up to you. So you think, you're just screwing some little guy or some little girl out of their money or, hurting them. Yeah, you might have hurt them short term. But I promise you, long term, you're hurting yourself. Reputation,
1000%.
Reputation is everything in this world. Your honor, you might. The problem is when you are honorable, you get screwed a lot. I got screwed millions of times in my life.
Same here.
Okay, but you know what? No one can come back and say Bek Lover lied to me, unless they lying through their teeth, or Jeff did me wrong, or no.
Exactly.
There's not a single person out there that can say that I fucked them in a business deal, or
Absolutely.
I took their money, or I took their sweat, because that's what you're doing. You're taking someone's sweat. And I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. To do that to someone is the same as putting a gun in someone's mouth and robbing their wallet. In my opinion, it's the same. Maybe even worse, because the way you did it was through deceit.
Exactly.
So that's kind of why you kind of hit a nerve, because it made me angry, because I've been through that too. I got screwed.
Oh, yeah.
I did a party at Metronome. Fucking place was packed. Okay? My first party I ever did on my own. Slam, bro. No promoters, bro. You understand? You know how hard that is.
No, I know. Believe me.
Samir's nickname for me was the 1,000-man man. That's his nickname.
That's awesome.
That's how we met, because you saw Ajay. He's like, who the fuck are you? You never heard him. He's like, who the fuck are you? How many people on your team? I said, I ain't got no fucking team. What do you consider a promoter? Someone that begs girls to come and drink? I said, this is fucking promoting. I said, no, I had a niche. I had my community.
Right, of course.
Which is Albanians. They loved me, right?
Of course.
But still, we were great. And I was the only Albanian person to throw events. Anyone that was a part of that time period knows never had fights, never had nothing. Okay, which was very rare with our people. Would you admit that Albanians, usually if there was a fight in the club that night, it was either the Albanians, the Italians, who was fighting usually?
Well, no,
you were out.
Well, no. What I would say is that
fucking fuck the night up, man.
No, what I would say is that Albanian parties, at least back then, did have a reputation that somebody's going to get into a fight,
violent or shot,
yeah, or whatever.
It was known as violent,
but yeah,
it is what we survived.
But
we've calmed down a lot, man. We have calmed down.
Oh, listen,
they've made dispensaries legal. We've chilling. We're second generation in now. We're calmed down, man.
Funny enough, my best friend from high school that pushed me to start promoting is half Albanian.
So that was it.
So there you go.
Shout out to my half Albanian brother.
Exactly.
Still friends?
Absolutely.
So Nightlife didn't rip you guys apart?
No, because ironically, after a few months, he just...
I had enough.
Yeah,
he said I had enough?
He said I had enough, and he wanted to go and get his Series 7.
So what made you stay in?
I just wanted
Never used your college for anything?
Yeah, you have to understand something. I have... There's something in me that I just... When I start something, I just don't quit until I want to see it through. And actually, unfortunately, when 9/11 happened, I had the night before, I had made flyers with the World Trade Center on it. That read the name of the party and the venue and everything. And, my dad worked on Wall Street. So when I woke up the following day, I was literally about to go and pass out flyers around my college. And then I woke up and my roommate was like, Jeff, did you see the news?
There's not going to be a party tonight.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh shit, I got to call my dad. But had somebody not told me what happened, I would have walked out the door and started handing out flyers with a picture of the.
That's crazy.
Because, back then it was.
Yeah, it was a symbol of like you're in New York, Yeah,
exactly.
Seeing the World Trade Center. I used to look at them with admiration all the time. They always excited me. Just seeing them like, wow, man, look at where I live. Like, I can't believe I live here, man. I remember driving down that West Side Highway and just seeing them,
Exactly.
And it was just magical, man.
So that, I didn't do anything for a number of months after that because of, obviously.
It was crazy, man. But then the nightlife came back roaring.
But then it came back
roaring. And there was a sense of like, fuck that. We're New Yorker. Like everyone was
absolutely
kind of more together, man. I felt like we were way more together.
1,000%.
It was a lot of like fun, man. It was fucking amazing, actually. I thought it was amazing.
1,000%. Yeah. I just came back even stronger.
So you've been in nightlife for about 25 years, basically. 20 something years.
20
plus at least.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You started in college. We're the same age. So you're about 25 years in, man.
Yeah. Well, no,
23,
like 22 years in, something like that.
So it's a long time.
Yeah.
Now, are you still active in nightlife?
Not as much. I was up until, I would say, the pandemic. Maybe, so basically before the pandemic, I would say for 7 years before, I was running Troy Liquor Bar at the time and running the marketing promotions for the venue. And I was also starting to build my celebrity Rolodex. I met my business partner currently, Mitch Faulkner, who owns a celebrity booking agency. We became partners and we were doing all these dinner parties. And I got Saturday Night Live as a client to do their, after
Shout out
parties.
to Leslie Jones, yo.
Love Leslie Jones.
She's mad cool. I became friends with her recently, actually.
Which that's another interesting story of how I got SNL as a client. But yeah, I was.
But when you say they're your client, like, what do you do for them?
I find them the venues every week that they're live. Hire the DJ. I even come up with
why they throw a party every Saturday.
Every Saturday that they're live.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Well, how often are they live? Every Saturday?
Well, they go like
seasons.
They go, for the season, they go like 2 or 3 weeks on, then they take a break for 2 weeks. Oh, that's awesome.
I never knew there was a Saturday Night Live party.
Yeah.
I was really good friends with Tracy Morgan for a while, and I have crazy fucking stories with him, which I've never made public, but we really lost contact, and I don't think that we ever will be in contact again. So one day I'm going to tell my Tracy Morgan stories. If you're out there, Tracy, it's time to rekindle the friendship. We never had a falling out. We just kind of lost touch. He started filming 30 Rock, and I never saw him again. But I had some wild fucking nights with Tracy Morgan, bro. I'm talking about 2001. But that's when he was drinking.
Yeah.
Then he stopped. Yeah. He hasn't drinking in years, but he was fucking wild, bro.
Oh,
we used to go to Suede a lot. We used to go.
Yeah. No, Tracy back in the day
he didn't give a fuck. He took me to 4 Green Projects, bro. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in a place called Sugar Hills. If you're from Fort Greene, you know. When I tell him, like, there's no way you walked in there, white boy. I'm like, oh, yes, I did. And this is how it looked. And I'm not going to lie, I was shitting bricks. I'm like, yo, I'm not in my hood. This is a fucking dangerous neighborhood. Tracy Morgan's like, you coming with me, I don't give a fuck. We walk into this place, and it was like that scene in Animal House when they walk in, and then everyone just stops dancing when they walked into the bar, to the Otis Stay when they were singing.
Yeah.
I walk into this place with Tracy Morgan. Everyone just stops. Partly because it was Tracy Morgan. And then they're like, who the fuck is this guy dressed like a fucking gangster? Like I had a suit on. I was shitting bricks. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, yo, I'm in the 4 Green fucking projects right now. I'm in Marcy Avenue. I'm leaving messages on my family. Yo, if I die, I'm with Tracy Morgan. If I die, anything happens to me, I was with Tracy Morgan. I swear to God, I'm leaving voicemails on my uncle's phone. Like, yo, if I die, I was with Tracy Morgan. I hung up the phone just so they would know what happened to me. Because I don't know what the fuck was gonna happen. And that's part of the thrill of the nightlife, but you got to be careful. The nightlife can be dangerous. Back then, it was way more dangerous, in my opinion.
Oh, of course.
Compared to today. There was a lot of characters in and out of those nightclubs, and you know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
All kinds of things moving. You can meet all kinds of people, and you got to be careful who you let into your circle in the nightlife. And you got to make sure you're out with people that there's at least someone that's competent to make sure you get home alive and that you're not doing stupid shit. And you shouldn't be drinking and driving when Uber exists. And if you don't got money for an Uber, you shouldn't fucking be out.
1,000%.
Period. And we can go on and on and on of the dangers of nightlife. But you did this for 20 years.
Yeah.
You kicked ass at it because you wouldn't know all the people that I know if you didn't. So how did you evolve? So this is kind of also how you started building up the celebrity connections?
Yeah. So basically what happened was a couple things were happening at the same time. I got SNL as Saturday Night Live as a client, which was another whole crazy story of how that happened. I was running the marketing and promotions at Troy Liquor Bar, and upstairs was Dos Caminos. So I was working.
Troy is in the meatpacking, no? Or
Well,
what
it's
was
not.
Troy?
Well, it's not open anymore.
But where was it?
It was in the meatpacking.
It was, that's what I'm saying. Sound
The downstairs of Dos Caminos.
Yeah. Those
So
Caminos are still there, though. They're still there. The one in the meatpacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still there.
Well, Dos Caminos is still there, and they have. Well, I don't think the bar is open anymore, but so I was doing these dinner parties upstairs at Dos Caminos, working with Troy Liquor Bar downstairs, and then I just started working with more restaurants. So my business partner, his whole thing was, hey, I want to get celebrities into the restaurants because I want to book them for appearances. I just wanted them to come to the parties. That was my whole thing.
Synergy right there.
There's synergy. And we became very close friends. And then eventually what happened was people started calling me to get, celebrities for appearances, and publicists would call me, hey, I want to get this person for, Art Basel and, hosting this party. And, so what ended up happening was we started to, because of the synergy of what was happening, we started getting more like convention clients. So for example, we'd be booking a Comic-Con type thing, and we'd secure the talent. So I was doing hospitality, was doing restaurants, working with Saturday Night Live, booking celebrities for appearances, and it just started to grow organically. And by the way, there's a lot of political bullshit that goes on behind the scenes on the celebrity world too. It's not just nightlife, but
absolutely,
we've weathered the storm on that kind of stuff too. So basically, what happened was we were doing that, and I just kept building my Rolodex, building my Rolodex. Always just wanted to do right by the client, stick to my word, make sure everything went well, and started working with more restaurants, and it just started to grow organically. And then the pandemic hit, of course.
Hurt all of us. Hurt me too, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in hospitality.
Yeah. It in the beginning it really hurt, because remember, it's aside from hospitality, I also had this other business that I was building, which is booking talent at conventions and
these all events, gatherings.
Anything live was shut. So one day, my business partner, Mitch, calls me up and he's like, Jeff, I think we should get some of our wrestler and athlete friends online to, maybe teach some classes or, meet their fans. And I just said to him, well, what if we did that with celebrities too? What if we did some charity events? Oh, what a great idea. Let's make some calls. Called Cedric the Entertainer, pitched him the idea, very skeleton. And he just said to us, I think you're onto something. I think this could be something that could go even past the pandemic, because digital world is evolving. People are always on their phones, and we could build this into a brand. So we partnered with Cedric and came up with the name. 3 or 4 months later, we launched.
And that is Fan
Room Live is what it's called now.
So tell me what this venture you do. So I didn't know Cedric was your partner. I just ran into him. I don't know him like that, but very, very nice guy, bro. Ran into him at the Nomad. He was in town a couple months ago. He walked into the lobby. Gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you known him a long time?
Listen, yeah. I mean, going back to sports, my business partner, he does celebrity golf tournaments. Cedric is a big golfer.
Yeah.
So they connected through the celebrity golf tournament circuit. I did a dinner for him before number of years before the pandemic.
Now, when you say you do a dinner for them, explain that to the audience. What does that mean? You put it together, the venue, you plan it. They just say, listen, they trust you enough, like, listen, we know you do the right thing. I need a dinner for this many people, and they don't even care, or you already know what they want and what they expect. I mean, so basically, you take care of that.
Well, everybody's different, but in this case scenario, yes. Cedric said to my partner Mitch, "I'm going to be in New York.
Take care of it."
Mitch connected me with his assistant, and he came into town, set up a dinner for him at Dos Caminos, who, as I said, was working with at the time, with Troy Liquor Bar. Hosted him for dinner with some of his friends. Became really good friends just out of that. And yes, when I say I did a dinner for him, I arranged it with the venue, set up everything he wanted, put the whole thing together.
So now he's a partner.
Now he's my business partner, yes.
Can we FaceTime him? Can we FaceTime him on camera? No, I'm sorry.
No, listen, Cedric.
He's like, I'm on set right now, man. What are you doing?
Let me tell you something. Cedric is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I ran into him a few months ago. Yeah. Never met him before. And I can tell, because I've met people I got to say, Robert De Niro wasn't too nice when I met him. No offense, if you're friends with him. But I'm not.
Bruce Willis, I feel bad for him what happened. I met him 3 times. He was never nice, not once. To me, at least, or to anyone that was around. We weren't even being annoying. Just hi, hello, nice to see you. I didn't ask for a picture or nothing. I'm going to show you the same way. If I had a picture of every celebrity I've ever hung out with or met with, I'd have albums. I don't care to.
Yeah, listen.
I get asked that every 2 seconds. Like, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my perception of Cedric when I met him was he was very warm and open to the world and people. And that was the aura I got from him. But you actually are in business with him and know him even better. So, that's why I believe everything you're saying about him.
Put it this way. I'll give you an example. On Thanksgiving, I'll text, people happy Thanksgiving. Cedric will text me back. And again, these are, I will say the same to him. Grateful to have you in my life. Truly a blessing. All that kind of stuff. That's a real friend. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's not just some generic. It's not just some generic bullshit, happy
So talk to me about this. What is it? Is it an app, a website? What is it?
Well, right now it's a platform. It's not, we're building the app part of it. It's a platform. We have celebrities come on and do a live stream, and we run it like a show. So we'll have, a host and a producer, but the fans and the celebrity are the centerpiece. So it's intimate and personal connections. So it's just conversations. We don't do autographs or any of that kind of stuff. And basically the celebrity gets to speak to their fans one-on-one while everybody else watches. Now, the reason why this is so, I love it so much is because, when you see a celebrity in a nightclub,
you don't want to bother them.
Either you don't want to bother them, or even if you speak to them, it's like whatever. You meet them at a convention. There's a security guard that's, trying to hustle you off the line because, they're trying to pump out as many signatures as possible so that the promoter can get their money back or make money on the celebrity that they're paying. With this, though, since it's virtual, it's just the fan and the celebrity. They have their intimate and personal connection. Then the next fan goes, and one-on-one, it just keeps going. And it's lots of fun. And every time we've done it, celebrity afterwards says, wow, I didn't realize how much fun that was going to be until I did it. And
what's good about it too is it can help the celebrity produce more income on their downtime. They don't have to actually travel, go over there. And it also makes it
promote their projects,
affordable for, maybe, one day you have someone like Justin Bieber as a client on this app, this technology. I may never be able to afford Justin Bieber, but maybe I can afford him for 2 minutes just to make my 16th birthday for my daughter amazing.
Exactly.
I pay $5,000 or whatever the rate is because it's broken down, and now they're going to be making money they never could have made before. The client and the person that loves that person gets to see them in a way they never would have ever had a chance.
Exactly.
And you're connecting to great things.
Well, not only that.
Now, where do you stand and what would separate you from other apps that are doing similar stuff? Why do you think you'll be able to conquer enough market share?
Well, it's because of the experience. Our experience is different.
I think the most important thing for you guys, Jeff, is just the celebrities you actually get on there. I think that's all you really need, because the tech is not crazy. It's conferencing, man. It's out there. But I think it's the relationships that you and your partner have, and Cedric definitely has, that will help you guys do really well with this thing. Who else have you had on the tech?
Oh, we've had George Lopez. He was our first guest. DL Hughley, Tommy Chong, Lamar Odom, Ice-T and Coco.
My neighbors,
by the way.
You going there after?
Love Ice-T.
They still live in my part of the world here or what?
They still live in Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, don't say where. I don't want us getting shot, because then people are going to know where I live. Actually, I just told everyone where the fuck I live. Strike that from the record. No, you can leave it out. I'm Albanian. We ain't scared of no one.
We've had wrestlers.
They were always, listen, Ice-T and Coco, many nights I partied with them. They were always out together, which I loved. They were always together. You could tell they fucking really love each other. I mean, they were always out together, bro. That's not a couple that's not in love.
Oh, yeah.
In New York City. You understand?
1,000%.
And very kind. I remember one night I was at Bilo, if you remember that place, on 19th Street.
Yeah.
It was like in a fucking dungeon. You went down, there was a little dwarf, little person that would take you down in the elevator. Or you could take the stairs like a normal person. But I used to like taking the elevator. And I was there when I had a table right next to me. We just hung out all night. Just mad cool. Just funny.
Let me tell you something about Ice-T. He came on Fan Room Live with Coco. They were also promoting new music artist named Zaim. And the first interaction with a fan, it was going a little bit longer. My, the host and producer, Jay Benjamin, tries to interrupt just to not, just politely say, we need to get on to the next fan. And Ice says, listen, let the fans talk as long as they want. Let's give all the fans all the time that they want to talk to us. And it was, when he said that, I was like, wow, that's a good guy. That's a good freaking guy, because he gave them more time than, what he had originally even told us, just so that people felt in their hearts that they were really coming away with something. And he loved doing it. So yeah, Ice-T is a great person. So it's really, great. I'm going to put up all the stuff here for the so what else do you want to say to the audience out there? Check out the app, right? Check out the tech when it comes out. Check out the tech when it comes out. If you want to check out some of my events, you can check it out at IE Group NYC on Instagram. For Fanroom Live, it's at Fanroom Live. And yeah, that's so you see, my friends, you could be the quiet kid in school, don't really talk too much, have a learning disability, all right? But what he had was what we call drive. There's always going to be problems in our life. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be something that happens. Always, always, always. And I've learned if we wait for the perfect day, there's no perfect days in life, because something always happens. Last week, I lost a really good friend. He just died, dropped dead, 30-something years old. I'm so sorry. That doesn't happen. The next thing you know, you don't feel good. This week, I'm sick. Today, I almost didn't come here because I wasn't feeling well.
So there's never going to be these perfect days that everyone waits for in life. You could have stayed that quiet, introverted kid the rest of your life. Instead, you chose to have bravery, to be courageous, to try things that you knew nothing about. And kind of God or destiny or the universe, whatever you want to call it, guided you down this path. And today you're friends with some of the most famous people on the face of the planet. You're creating something with one of my favorite people. Cedric is a fucking amazing human being.
Yeah.
So, you're doing amazing things because you were not willing to stay in that shell. You had courage. You took chances. You took risks. Absolutely. And from what I can tell, you did what you said you would do to people. You didn't burn it because you don't make these relationships that's where it goes back to what we said earlier. When you mess up your reputation, it's not hard for people in their power to find out real quick who you are.
Right.
Today it's a Google search.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a phone call. It's who are you, basically. So I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm pretty sure I might be one of your, clients soon.
Absolutely.
And maybe we'll talk about how we can work together. Actually, I think that's the reason God brought you. I don't want to talk on the air. I got something I want to create for the metaverse with a very famous venue, and I think you're the guy. So Jeff is here. We finished this episode. We're going to talk some shop. This is why people watch the Bek Lover podcast, where they can learn a thing or two about life. I got my man Jeff Krauss in the house. Check out the article, by the way, in Forbes magazine. And thank you for coming out, Jeff.
Oh, Bek, thank you for having me on. This has been really great conversation. And by the way, a lot of this stuff that I just spoke about, I have never spoken about in public.
But you felt comfortable, right?
Absolutely.
That's my job as a host. The Bek Lover podcast. Till the next time, check out this episode on podcast, YouTube, Rumble, highlights on every freaking platform. We're everywhere. Probably soon we will be on
Fan Room Live.
Fan Room Live.
See, I caught it that time.
This is Bek Lover.